Sarah's phone buzzed on her coffee table, and it was from him. Her hand shook as she picked up her phone to read what he had just sent her, and her world flipped upside down. "I'm breaking up with you," it read. She dropped her phone on the table and its screen shattered. Her mind raced with reasons why he would leave her, why he would just give up so easily. Was it because of the new girl at the office? Have I not treated him right? Is he sick of me? Am I not pretty enough for him anymore? No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't fight back the tears. That is, until she remembered the magical text message that her friend taught her. The text message that would change his mind about breaking up with her. The strange, simple text that would cause his heart to burn with an intoxicating desire every time he thought about her. Keep watching this video, and I promise that what you'll learn in the next 4.5 minutes will change your life forever. Hi, my name is Amy North, and in this short little video, I'm going to reveal to you the shocking ending to Sarah's story. And I'm going to reveal a secret text message you can send to a man to make him forget about every other woman and focus all of his attention, love, and desire on you and only you. To make you the only woman that he ever has on his mind. And to make him worship you, fantasize about you, and obsess over you as if you were the last woman on earth. The moment you use this text on a man, you will make his heart pound with hunger and excitement, as if you had put a hypnotic love spell on him. So, if you're sick and tired of him ignoring your text messages and pulling away, then keep watching, because this one little text holds the key to make any man feel an everlasting love for you and only you, forever. This sounds unbelievable, I know, but it has worked shockingly well for the hundreds of women I've shared this kind of text message with. Women like Rachel, who used them on her ex-boyfriend after he suddenly and unexpectedly dumped her. And as soon as her ex read this message, he immediately realized his mistake, told her how much he missed her, and begged her to take him back. Or my friend Samantha, who used it on the new cute guy at the gym. Once he read the magical text, he immediately asked her out on a date, and they've been infatuated with each other ever since. Or Alexa, who used this strange text message on her cold and distant husband, and practically made him obsess over her again overnight, promising to love her through thick and thin. These magical texts work even if you don't think you're naturally beautiful, intelligent, or charming. Because these messages are like discovering a magical dictionary of obsession, where every word, phrase, and sentence will make his entire body shake with incredible love and infatuation for as long as you desire. Want proof? Just listen to this embarrassing story about my friend Sarah, and I promise that you will be shocked by what happens to her at the end. "I want to be with you forever and always," he whispered into Sarah's ear. Her heart fluttered, her eyes widened, and her palms began to sweat. Could it really be, she thought? Could I really be the one for him? Sarah's entire life was filled with heartbreak and disappointment. I mean, there wasn't anything wrong with her. She was reasonably smart and had a decent job, but she knew she wasn't exactly a supermodel. So guys typically didn't give her a second look. That is, until she met her soulmate. His name was Mark, and he was perfect. He was tall, charming, and incredibly successful. Every month he would whisk her away to some exotic Caribbean island or quaint European town. She couldn't believe how magical their lives were, and she couldn't help but giggle with glee every time he crossed her mind. All of her friends were beyond jealous. They wondered what she did to make a guy like that devote his entirety to her. Her best friend Jen even jokingly said, "If I could transplant my soul into your body, I'm sorry to say, but I probably would." Nothing in her life could have been more perfect. That is, until she showed up. The stunning new intern at Mark's office. She was 7 years younger than Sarah, she was thin, and she had that kind of youthful flirtiness that most men go crazy for. At first, Sarah wasn't worried because Mark was always intensely loyal. But this time, the whole situation just felt different. As time wore on, Sarah began noticing something deeply strange and disturbing with Mark and the intern. She noticed that they began spending more and more time together at the office. They'd always text each other late at night about work, and Mark would always mention how well the new intern was doing. But Sarah kept telling herself that work was work and tried not to think anything of it. Until her friend Jen told her something that made her mind race. "Please don't freak out," Jen said, "but I think I saw Mark and the new intern together, holding hands at the park last night. But I'm not 100% sure." The moment those words came out of Jen's mouth, Sarah's heart crashed to the floor. Was it true? Her heart began to pound wildly. It was like all of her deepest fears were coming true. She knew she had to confront Mark, but the moment she did, he snapped. "Of course I'm not into her. I love you, not her." But after that, things just didn't feel the same. Was he telling the truth, she thought? She spent sleepless nights staring at the ceiling, wondering if Mark could really hurt her like that. Every single time Mark's phone buzzed, she felt a burst of anxiety flow through her. Why is she texting him so late at night? Why is she always texting him? The more she brought up the issue with him, the colder and more distant Mark became. And after a few weeks of unbearable anxiety, Sarah discovered something that made her want to laugh and cry at the same time. Jen was wrong about Mark and the intern. It turns out that she had confused them with a couple down the street that looked almost exactly like them. But the damage was already done, and Mark was increasingly distant and preoccupied. And, most disturbingly, he wasn't texting her back as quickly as he used to, sometimes waiting for hours where he used to always get back to her in seconds or minutes. The uncertainty of waiting left a knot in her stomach. She didn't know if he was mad at her or if he just couldn't be bothered anymore. She wondered if she could keep texting him to convince him to come around, but she didn't want to come across as needy and annoying, and she didn't want to play games and not respond to his messages for hours and hours. She was a mess of anxiety and started constantly worrying about when he was going to leave her. Until, one day, a few weeks later, it finally happened. Sarah got that fateful message from Mark telling her it was over, which caused her to drop her phone. It was as if the bottom had dropped out of her life. Her vision blurred as the tears streamed down her cheeks, and she felt her knees weaken and her stomach lurch, leaving her to doubt whether she'd ever find someone to love her the way Mark did. And as she sat there feeling more alone than she had in her life, staring blankly at her broken phone, she remembered the weird type of text message her friend had told her about, the one that claimed to make any man feel a deep burning obsession for whoever sent it. She thought it was ridiculous at the time, but typed it in and sent it off with no real expectation that she'd ever hear back from him. And almost immediately, he messaged her that one word, wait. And as she stared at that one word, wondering how she should respond, the phone started ringing in her hands. It was him. It was weird to see his name come up like that. He never called her. When she answered, she'd barely said hello when he blurted out, "Sarah, I need to see you. Can we please talk?" She agreed to let him come over, and that whole night, Mark begged Sarah for forgiveness, forever thinking about leaving her, and forever thinking that his life could be complete without her. The text had reminded him of everything good they ever had together, and had filled him with a desperate fear that he'd never find a match like her again. Finally, he said the words she'd been waiting to hear for months. "I'm in love with you, and I'm never ever leaving you no matter what." But more importantly, everything changed after that. This wasn't a momentary panic he was experiencing that made him come running back to her. He'd truly seen the light about how truly amazing their relationship was and could be, and was more committed and more dedicated to making it work than he'd ever thought before. So who was this mysterious friend that told Sarah about the most influential text message ever? Well, drum roll please, it was me, Amy North. For over 10 years, I've been studying the science of love and attraction, and I've learned how simple words can make any man melt with the purest form of desire for you. To infiltrate his mind with thoughts of romance and desire, and to make him love you unconditionally, until he has to bend down on one knee and give himself completely to you and only you. So what is this text message, and how does it work? And how does it make your guy feel a special kind of obsession for you that only 1% of women ever experience? In order for you to understand how it works, you need to know just 3 simple facts. Fact 1. The key to making a man fall and stay in love is his attention. When you truly capture a man's attention, he can't stop thinking about you. This means when you're with him, his mind is practically glued to you. When he looks at you, he will feel like he is bathing in warm sunlight. And when you're apart, he's constantly thinking about where you are, what you're doing, and what you're thinking. I'm sure you've experienced something similar when you're in love with a man. When you're in a room with him, no matter how many other people are around, your brain is constantly tracking where he is and who he's talking to. When you're not with him, you begin wondering where he is and what he's doing. And you're secretly hoping that he's thinking of you too. Now, most people think that our brains become fixated on a person because we're infatuated with them. But the opposite is also true. The more you think about someone, the more attention you pay to them, and the more in love and infatuated you become with them. So, once you learn how to occupy a man's attention and get him to think about you uncontrollably, you will have complete control over him in a way that you never thought possible. Which brings me to fact 2. There are certain psychological triggers which grab a man's attention. For example, things like curiosity,